Writing Interview with the Vampire was, it was just the simplest thing in the world. I was sitting at my desk one night, and it was a period when I was trying to write a short story a night. And I thought, what would it be like to interview a vampire? If you could get a vampire to tell you the absolute truth about what it was like to be immortal and to take life and to be that close to the victims he feeds on, if you could get him to open up about that experience, what would that be like? Suddenly the vampire had a name, and he began to tell the story of how he became a vampire, and the vampire who made him had a name, Louis Lestat, and it just started developing into a novel, and it was really a matter of letting it develop, just going with it, not asking any questions about where it came from or why in the world I was writing something in which every character was a blood-drinking revenant. I just didn't challenge my own subconscious or the flow of the story. And by the time I finished, I knew I had done something that I'd been unable to do before as a writer. And I had the feeling, well, maybe this will be the first thing of mine ever to be published.
I had just come to Knopf. I think I was 23, and there I was in my little one-room studio reading this, started reading this manuscript, and it was obviously quite a while ago, but you know, I can still remember the feeling that I had when I read this manuscript. It was physical, as these things happen when you read a manuscript like that does something to you.
With Interview with the Vampire, I had no anticipation there would be a series. It was after I finished that I thought, well, I'd really like to tell the story from Lestat's point of view. And it really took about 8 years before I went back and decided to write The Vampire Lestat. That's when the series really was born. It was born with that second novel.
She would write one a year or one every year and a half. It just got richer and larger. She never disappointed in her storytelling. I would be reading it saying, oh my God, she's not going to do this. She wouldn't do that. She would do something that would be much more interesting.
I had no idea that it would ever be a series of 11 or 12 books. If anybody had said, is that possible, I would have said, oh no, I don't think so, it's too weird.
It changed the culture. Now, I mean, it's, you know, with vampires are everywhere, but it wasn't, I mean, her books were not about that world. They were about so much more.
The vampire concept is so rich that it's never going to die. It was one of those concepts that just happens to be fathomlessly deep. Here you have this monster who looks and acts like a human being but is in fact immortal, who feeds off humankind, and he's articulate and perhaps sensitive and always dangerous. And so I started to read them all again. And I read and read and read, and gradually I found myself just brimming with ideas, new things that I wanted to do with Lestat, new things I wanted to say through him. I was able to hear his voice finally and make his voice work for me. And this is a character who, when he starts to talk to me, will not shut up. I'm glad he's back. You know, all the trouble he is worth it.